Yes, yes, yes. This is the HL podcast for our HL Tuesdays. We are the dopest podcast in the DMV, presented to you all by the Harris Firm and Willpower Innovations.
Yes,
I
sir.
am Rock alongside your boy Chief.
In the building, man. Let's get it. Let's get it.
Let's get it. Now, tonight, this is our HL interviews where we sit down and converse with the up and coming and established, the talented and the intelligent, the artists and the entrepreneurs and the creators and the activists. All right. Now, people, please remember that all of our previous interview episodes and all of our episodes on all major podcast platforms and our YouTube channels, the HL podcast and the EEM network. All right. Right now, we are broadcasting live on the Roku platform and Apple TV on the Politicking app via Politicking Broadcasting. A very special shout out to the StreamYard platform where we are live on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube right now. People, and lastly, a very special announcement was dropped a few weeks ago and recently. Was it last night?
Yeah, last night. Yep.
Last night. There is a docu-film produced by visual arts company Visions That Transcend and Blackwood's Creators, which is a writing and production platform executive produced by Chief and I, that is titled The Lost Weekend. Again, that is a docu-film. It is about a man from the DMV who decides to travel to New York City for the weekend and documents his entire journey. Now, people, please, yes.
That Jonas Heat too.
It's gonna be incredible. It's gonna be incredible.
Yes,
now, people, you have to continue to watch our interviews and our podcast episodes to find out the official release date, or you can follow us on IG, TikTok, and Facebook to get that information. Again, the docu-film is coming out, The Lost Weekend. Let's get it.
Man, let's get it, man. Tonight, we have a very, very special guest. She is the CEO of Jess Boutique and a very, very special and creative content creator in Jess Michelle. We're going to go ahead and bring her in now. Hello.
Hello.
Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
You ready?
I'm so
okay. So here at the HL podcast, we just like to jump right in. First, I would like to say that the interview questions are brought to you by Blackwood's Creators. Once again, he said the writing production platform. Please go hit him up if you need so. So I would like to first read, Jess Michelle, a caption of yours before I ask this question. You said, as a content creator, I'm on go mode so much that I often forget to sit my down, which us as well. You said you have to remind yourself of that today, which was a few months ago. Then you said it's so easy to get caught up in the busyness of life. You could say that again. If you're not careful, your lack of rest can hinder how effective you are with others. Wow. And you said, so I've been taking a little time for me lately, and I'm learning it's okay if I don't post all the time. Then you go and say life goes on regardless. Then you say, and it's okay if I decide to do nothing on any given day. Now, with that being said, and you said that a few months ago, how is your mental right now, right? Me and Amrod talk mental health awareness all the time. So we think it's important to bring this onto this platform as well. So we would love to hear your insight on how your mental is in 2021.
Well, my mental health now it's more at ease because I'm prioritizing things. I'm moving more in the direction of purpose versus a bunch of things. Like, for example, I just moved to Arizona, so I've been super busy with moving and stuff like that. But in terms of like work, like social media, my business, it has not been my primary focus for the past few weeks because it's like it's so easy to like get caught up in all of that. You're on social media all day, every day. Likes, people are always looking for the next thing. So it's so easy to get caught up in all these content concepts and I gotta do this, I gotta do this. You may like this or they may like this. But it's like at the end of the day, like I said in the caption, I'm more concerned about being effective now. It's not just about producing this content, always giving people something. I want to be effective in what I'm doing. I want to bring a smile. I want to bring awareness And if my mood's not right, for example, we all have our good days and our not so good days. I'm not going to push myself to do all this stuff if it's just not my day. Like sometimes I just need my me time. So it doesn't necessarily mean like do nothing, but it's more of like prioritizing what's important and what's not important, and also doing things for you outside of social media. I'm using social media because that's my life, but like whatever your primary is, doing stuff outside of that that's focused on you. You know, they call it self-care, whatever that looks like. So with that being said, my mental health is better in a sense of I feel more at peace. Even though I've been busy, I feel more at peace because I've been prioritized versus the social media world.
I hear that, and I totally agree. I like to go in life about saying, I choose this part of the time in the day for myself. So I'm sorry if somebody hit me up, you might not get something hit back unless it's an emergency. But if I know it's not an emergency, that 5 to 10 minute window to 5 to hour, however I go about it, I'm choosing myself, and I'll just lay on the couch or do something like you said to put your mind at ease. I'm glad you put that in the public. So let me ask you this. Take us back to the beginning. So you're originally from Birmingham, Alabama?
Yep, I am born and raised there.
Okay. So how was it growing up there with you and your family?
It was very chill. So I grew up in the country. I'm a country girl at heart. So I spent a lot of time at my grandparents' house, like outside in the woods, like no shoes, like real country. But it was always peaceful. It was my parents, and I just have one younger brother. But it was pretty relaxing. Like I said, it was the country, so it was like very, very open, very, very slow. So not much going on. So it was pretty smooth. Sometimes I tell people my life growing up was pretty standard and pretty boring. Like boring in the country. Like, but yeah, I'm just a country girl, honestly.
Just a country girl doing big things. So in the country, right? Because we know we've seen you're part of like the Christian faith, right? I myself is spiritual. So is this where your ground and your foundation came from, and from Christianity, just being in a small town, a small place around your family, growing closer to Jesus?
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely my environment and my family played a big part in that, for sure. And I wouldn't consider myself a church girl. I went to church growing up, but I didn't grow up in the church, if that makes sense. So it definitely was a big contributor to my faith, yes.
That's good. So what was your first passion as a child?
My first passion as a child. Child, like an adolescent.
Yeah, like
teenager.
I like adolescent age.
Adolescent.
Yeah.
So like 10, 11. My first passion was to be a video girl.
Bring it back. We gotta explain this one.
Please explain this one.
Oh, listen, I was watching like music videos and all that stuff, wanting to be there, wanting to dress all kind of. Why I don't know, but that's.
Oh man,
that is funny. That's funny. Wow. So did that lead to? But did that lead to what's going on now? Like you're making videos on TikTok. Is this what led to this, or who you are now?
It's crazy how everything comes full circle. So really, I've always loved to model. So I did like modeling locally, but the way it happened now, I don't think it had anything to do with like that growing up, because it was never something I really pursued. Like long story short, I wanted to like finish school and be a psychiatrist. Like I knew that world wasn't for me, but I did like enjoy like watching the videos and stuff. So no, I don't think it like kind of pushed me to do that. It was more so modeling, but I didn't think it would come full circle now. Like now, my biggest audience are kids. So it's different than just being in a music video.
Oh yeah, I hear that. I hear that. So you went to University of Alabama?
I did.
Roll Tide. So what did you
Roll
actually
Tide.
get your degree in, and how was the actual college experience? I know we all have different type of college experience. I'm actually shout out to support Black colleges. But yes, what did you get your degree in, and how was the college experience?
Okay, so I went to the University of Alabama for only a year and a half, and then I actually had to stop going because my parents couldn't afford it and we didn't get any student loans. So I was majoring in psychology at Alabama, but then I stopped because I had to sit out. But my mom didn't want me to just sit out and do nothing. So I ended up going to Virginia College, which is more so a technical school, and I got my degree in care reimbursement. So, but yeah, I started out at Alabama.
Okay.
That's good. That's
The
good.
college was great. Like I had the typical college experience, like freshman year at Alabama, staying in a dorm with 3 other girls, and just that whole like college life. Like I did experience that. I was on campus and all of that. It's a huge school.
Yes.
Huge school.
Yes. I be seeing the videos of them when they do like the helicopter view of the colleges and stuff like that. So yeah, their campus is humongous.
Yeah, I actually didn't want to go there. I originally wanted to go to FSU, Florida State, but you know it's more expensive if you go to a school out of state. So being in Alabama, I had to go somewhere locally. So I settled for Alabama, but originally that's not where I would have ended up if I could have chose.
Agree. I hear you. So we heard that you recently just moved, and we actually saw that you recently moved, but we'll get to that soon. What actually led you to Seattle, right? How did you get out there? How was the time out there, and how did you grow in Seattle?
So what led me to Seattle was I was married. I'm divorced now. So my ex-husband at the time, he was military. So that's what brought me to Washington. Afterwards, I just decided to stay because of my job. The economy was good. I was already comfortable there. And I knew I wanted to get out of Alabama anyway. I just didn't know how or where. So, you know, like I said, Alabama's so slow. And Seattle's not super fast. It's like a happy medium. So, you know, I was like, well, until I figure out where I really want to end up, Washington is where I'm going to stay. So I stayed in Washington. I moved to Washington in 2015, so it's been about 6 years. So I've been there for 6 years, and I actually grew a lot there for like obvious reasons. I was in Alabama living with my parents' house, so I went from my parents to Washington with my now ex-husband, and then the divorce and all of that happened. So I go from that now just me in this foreign state, like literally just me, no family, no nothing, and I'm pretty much starting over as my, you know, as me, as my own woman. So that in itself was like I grew up a lot.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I definitely hear that. I like to equate stories like that. Like I talk to Amrock about this all the time, like the butterfly in the cocoon. No one ever tells us that the butterfly, when it's growing the wings, is going through pain during the growth. But afterwards, man, those wings are beautiful, right? So we're seeing that in Jess Michelle right now. So what actually pulled you towards Arizona now?
So what pulled me to Arizona? Well, I had already been. I typically go there once a month. The weather's beautiful. I work out at a gym there known as the Pound Gym, and it was just a new environment. It was either that or Dallas, Texas, and for the longest I thought I would move to Dallas, but then coming to Arizona every so often, I just, you know, I love the weather. I enjoy the people. I could tell that this was where I was supposed to be. So again, it was pretty much another leap of faith that I took. And even when I was in Washington, I knew that Washington wasn't where I was going to settle. It was a for now kind of thing. Because like when I got my divorce, I had like bought my condo in Washington, and I was going to stay there for a few years, which I did. But again, mentally, I always knew I would be somewhere else, so I was never going to stay in Washington. So this was going to happen sooner or later. So it was something I had already been thinking about for the past few years. It just came time to do it. So
I hear that.
I think Arizona is definitely a place I can see myself settling in. I definitely love to travel. as far as like my home base, I think that Arizona is it for me. So this was where
wow.
Mhm.
I hear that. I hear that. Literally uprooting yourself from one place and then rooting yourself somewhere else to get more nutrients so you can grow faster and stronger. We definitely we hear that. We hear that. So now to the nitty gritty. When did you first start creating video content?
The beginning of quarantine, so last March was when I started
Wow.
creating. I already had a TikTok account, but I never used it until the beginning of quarantine. And the goal was not to turn it into like work. I was just doing it for fun. So at the church I was at, I was a part of this mentorship called Purple Roses. So the girls was like raised, aging anywhere from 7 to 13. So they were big on TikTok. So we had like a game night, family night one night, and they were teaching us these TikTok dances. And I had so much fun. I got so curious that I got on TikTok and I just started, teaching myself about it, making videos, just for fun. I was in the house anyway, so I was just doing it for fun until literally one video just took off. So I don't know if you want to say it happened on accident, purposely an accident, but it was literally just for fun. But yeah, last March.
Wow. And you're like 50,000 followers later? Like that's amazing.
Right. TV commercials and everything.
That's amazing. So let me ask you, I know there's like a literal definition for content creator, but we want to actually hear your definition of content creation.
My definition of content creation, it's pretty simple for me, just creating content, whatever that looks like. Like for me, I'll either do a dance content, fashion content, or ad content, meaning I will promote another company or someone else's product in a creative way, or maybe like a funny skit or something like that. So like that's dance, fashion, promo, funny. That's like my realm of content. But there's all kinds of content out there. So
Right.
I don't know if there's a specific name for that, but that's the content I do. So I hope
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I would say probably for us, and I don't know, Chief, if you agree, but I mean, definitely for us, creating content is, in a sense, creating our truths, right, and putting our stories out there, right, and like you said, just having fun and showing people the fun that you like to have, right, and the things that interest you, and hopefully that affects somebody, or that touches somebody, or that makes somebody learn, or makes somebody go research this, or pick up this book, or whatever the case may be. So yeah. So
and I don't know if you guys have noticed, but like on my Instagram page, for example, my bio, like the first thing it says is sharing the glow.
Yes.
So, that's my thing when I produce my content. It can show through my smile. It can just show through my energy. But that's my whole thing. All the content I create, because people tell me all the time, "Oh, you have this glow about you. You have this energy, this light about you." So that's what it is that I'm sharing. What many people don't always know is it stems from my faith. And so you see a lot of people. Number one, I'm not religious. Like I really do know God for myself.
Yes.
So I don't push religion on none, because that's not me.
Yeah.
I would call myself like more spiritual than anything, but I am not a religious person. So that's why I say my goal is to share the glow, share that light, because that's who we are. We are lighters. We do have this glow, and we're supposed to share it. People who are sucked and hidden in darkness, that's a big part of my purpose. And it anything, like I'm really just showcasing myself, who I am, showing my confidence. I mean, yeah, I have my down days too, but in all of my content, that's what it's about. I call it sharing the glow.
I hear that. I hear that. I like that definition. Now that we got that full definition, because I have a media company. I put out content as well, and though sometimes my days are off as well. I like to share this content because I figure it's empowering me. You know, it's uplifting me right now to get out of this little hole that I'm in, right? So if I can share that and two people see it, that's all God asked for. As long as you sharing that light to one or two, that's fine. That two could grow to four, that could, grow to six. So I definitely agree with what you're saying.
Yeah, definitely. So you mentioned last year, right? You had just started really creating your content, your videos, right? And you had already had a TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
But then you were featured in the TikTok commercial. Okay. And the commercial is showcasing various clips of TikTok creators and innovators, right? How was that experience?
Oh, so it honestly, I have to give God credit, and I'm not trying to sound cliche, but it happened so out of left field. So, like, long story short, they hit me up. Like, they literally reached out to me via email and said they wanted to feature me. So, I literally had to sign a contract and all of that. But it makes no sense. But that's how you know it's God, because it makes no sense.
Right.
I'm on the commercial with all these creators who have millions and millions of followers already. Like, they're known. And then at the time, I think I only had, 25, 30,000 followers. So I'm like, all these people on social media and you pick me.
Right.
It was so random. And I've actually had conversations in terms of it's so hard for Black creators, especially to have a voice to really be seen and shown in a positive way, even though there are many Black creators on TikTok who I feel like, have better content than me. And like, they're really doing their thing. They're doing amazing stuff, but they're not seen. They're not noticed. Like, TikTok is like skipping over that. So I'm like, again, it could be the glow, but for whatever reason, I was chosen for that. And if that means I have to be that representation, then I accept that responsibility. I accept that aspect of my purpose. But so yeah, as far as the commercial, again, like, it's just like Instagram. You have all these users and stuff like why me? Like, why am I on the commercial with, next to somebody with 8 million followers compared to my little 25, 30,000. So how they find me, I don't know. Because even
Incredible.
my video has gone viral, but if you looked at the platform as a whole, my viral video is nothing compared to so many other things that are out there that have gone viral. So they literally could have picked anyone. So it was truly like random. So that's why I say it's God, because like it makes no sense why they would pick me at all.
Wow. Yeah, that's all you can say is glory be to God. Like, that's it. We, Chief and I say that all the time. Like, when that magic happens, when we're creating, we're doing something, or it's like, yo, thank you, God. Like, you know what I mean? So
fact. Shoot, sometimes we stop and pray real quick, we got to give it real quick to give them the word, so it just makes sense what's going on, and then we move on and something else happens, it's so divine. It's so divine.
Have you met any of the other creators in within that commercial?
I did. I met one of them. I don't remember her username. I would have to go back and look, but she is a makeup artist. So she was on one of the scenes where she had this like exotic makeup.
Wow.
I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Talked to her, and we've talked a little bit back and forth, but now we're good friends now. So
that's cool. That's cool.
That's even better. Connections. Then on top of that, you build on so that's dope. That's incredible.
That is dope.
So, as Chief mentioned earlier, you are the owner of your own boutique, which you started in 2017, I believe, right? So, what inspired you to create your own boutique, and tell us about your business?
Okay, so I tell people this all the time. So the reason why I started my boutique isn't the same reason I have today. So when I started my boutique, for one, I was still married. my ex-husband was a club promoter, so we would go out like every weekend and all that stuff. And so for me, when I was in Washington State, I saw a lot of the women like either wearing the same stuff or like getting their stuff from the same. Sometimes I would buy something and there's like two of the girls wearing the same thing later on. So at the start, it was more like I'm tired of seeing the same thing. I want some different stuff. So I had no intention of starting a boutique at all. I was literally on the couch one afternoon and I literally Googled how to start a boutique. Like I wasn't expecting anything. I was like, let me see. Like if I wanted to do this, how would I do this? And so I Googled how to start a boutique. And I think one of the links popped up where it'll like tell you like step by step. And I was surprised at how easy it was. I was like, that's it. So I got started. Like I followed the steps and I started my own boutique. And I tell people like if you went on my site now, all my old stuff is still on there. Like my dresses, jumpsuits, all of that is still on there. Like my boutique has evolved so much. Like you can see the evolution from where I started compared to where I am now. And if you look close, the stuff that I was putting out when I first started is way different to the stuff I have now. And that's the representation of my growth internally, who I am. So what my boutique means to me now is I'm all about classy, sexy. I believe, you can go as far back as you want to. Like us as women, it's more than just, wearing wigs and weaves and nails and all of this stuff. Like, oh, we just want to have all this extra stuff. Like, no, as women, it's in our nature. Like when we look good, we feel good. Like, women we present ourselves in so many different places and environments. Like when we look good, we feel good. So the whole thing is classy, sexy, because there is nothing wrong with sexy. It's just about how you showcase it. So I say that there's a difference between classy, sexy, and trashy, sexy. But regardless, sexy should not be taken away. It's who we are as women. We deserve to feel good about ourselves. So for me, my business represents now is more so having clothes that, allow a woman to not only look good but feel good. But she's still sexy, but it's not like a IG like model or
right.
Not like the video I thought I wanted to be.
Right.
Like at the end of the day, fashion is my thing, and eventually I will have my own line, and I'm working on a bunch of things. So I love fashion anyway. So so that passion as a little kid was more so on the fact that I was obsessed with the clothes. But again, being married to a club promoter, being in the club, being in that scene, that was my focus at the time. Now my focus is, okay, how do I feel? How does this make me feel? And it's not about having a particular body type. Like I want to have stuff that are tailored to all women, that make all women like feel good about themselves and still feel sexy and not feel like they have to be ashamed if they want to be sexy. So that's the whole purpose behind my business. So all of my stuff is tailored to that, but there's definitely like an evolution. So all of the items that I started out with that I haven't sold yet, they would be on the clearance tab. Like if you ever went on there, you can look at the clearance tab, and those are the clothes I had when I started. So you would definitely
Gotcha. and please tell the people where they can find your boutique.
So it's online. It's jessmeboutique.com. That's JESSMI boutique, BOUTIQUE.com. So I'm Jess Michelle. So it's just me, just the MI, and then boutique.com. And then the boutique Instagram is at justme_boutique.
All right.
Perfect.
So we always speak to the term support, right? And we've been told by people we've interviewed in the past that strangers will be the ones who support you before your friends do, right? So have you seen that support from the ones that or more love from the people that you don't know?
That is definitely true. I've received more love from the people that I don't know. So, like my following grew, I received a lot of support from people I've never met before. I have, received support from like my friends and people I know locally. So, not from everyone, but some people have supported. But there are definitely those who know me, for example, or they'll see something and they say it's cute, and then when someone else tell them where it's from, they're like, "Oh."
Hmm.
So I see all of that.
That's interesting.
Totally seen it with my own eyes. So I mean, definitely support from both sides. I'm not, I do have friends who are true supporters, but if I had to choose what was more, definitely more from people I don't know.
Interesting.
That's interesting. So with that, right? I mean, you still had, TikTok reach out to you, and I'm sure that other people have reached out to you as well. Other well-known people have reached out to you as well, right? But you're also into fashion, and you mentioned that you want to start your own brand, start your own clothing line, right? And get into that realm. Who would be that one person that, hey, they had on your clothing, they're supporting your brand? Who would be that one person that it's like, whoa, like, oh snap, they're supporting me, like they got on my stuff, or they shout me out, like that's crazy. Like, who is that one person for you?
Ooh, Sarah Jakes Roberts.
Thank you. I rocks with Sarah Jakes. Yes.
I actually met her once, and I gave her like a card and a bag with my dresses. She hasn't worn it yet. This was like almost 2 years ago. I haven't seen it yet. I'm hoping that she'll wear it. But yeah, she would definitely be the one for sure.
Yes. Sarah Jake Roberts, go ahead and wear that clothing. You hear it right now.
Please,
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, what advice would you give someone who's looking to start their own business, right? Or someone who may, not fully be as spiritual as they should be, or as religious as they should be, right? Or they're questioning possibly, their faith within God, and the test that God has put upon them. They're questioning that, right? Like, what advice would you tell people in that mindset?
More so people who are questioning their faith, or
Sure.
business, or are you asking both?
Both.
Well, I do know, when it comes to starting your business and faith, the biggest thing is, you want to establish your why. You definitely shouldn't start a business just because you think you can make this amount of money. I mean, you could do that, but not only are we born with a purpose, but everything you do has to be purposeful. Like, why are you doing this? Establish your why. Everything stems from your why, because especially when your faith is shaky, or when things aren't going your way, or whatever happens, you have to have that foundation to go back on. So you have to be able to rely on your why. When the odds are against you, you have to be able to go back to your why to motivate you to keep going. If you don't have that, then you're just going to fall apart. And you can use that like spiritually or even practically, like whatever the case may be. You have to have that foundation. And if you don't have that foundation, then you're going to have to take the time to accept yourself. And I tell people this all the time. I had to realize it, because for the longest they call it an identity crisis. I thought I didn't know who I was. But the thing is, everybody knows who we are. Like, you know who you are. So I think the thing is accepting. Not everyone accepts who they are, but they know who they are. And I feel like who they are is scary to them.
Yes, that's what it is.
So far-fetched, or they're all these distractions, social media, what other people are saying, how you were raised, what parents told you, what people in school told you. All these distractions have clouded who you are, but you know who you are. You have we are born with an innate sense of who we are. It's just more so accepting it. That's the problem. We have trouble accepting it. And even that, it's not easy to accept it. I'm not saying it's easy. Accepting who you are takes time, whatever that looks like for you. Like for me, really spending time with God in my own way, that's what helped me. Or doing things that you like personally, because it's again like I'm not religious. Like I am him and he is me. Like this is me. Like
that's right.
This is me. So spending time with you, whatever that looks like. I don't want to like pinpoint like exact things that you can do, because you have to be met where you are. So like for me, I enjoy writing. It's crazy because every time I write, I feel like my pen is being taken over as I'm writing, and it's not me writing anymore. Like, and I
It's a
mean,
Bible verse that go with that.
like journaling, that's how God talks to me through writing. Like when I can start to write about something, and literally by the third or fourth sentence, I go in a completely different direction, and I'm like, oh, and it's a breakthrough. Just whatever it looks like for you. I did, after my divorce, I'm not a church girl, but I did spend a lot of time in a church. And it wasn't a religious church. It was a church that really like helped guide me in the right direction, as far as, how to really get closer to God, and really how to hear him, and really solidify my personal relationship with him. So definitely understanding your why. Everyone is born with a fire. So, just a quick example. I remember watching a makeover show. It was Sarah Jakes Roberts' show, actually. So she would sit there, talk to these women. They would tell her their backstories and the things they've gone through, and then she would kind of give them a makeover that kind of matches the things that they've gone through. And that simple show would make me cry.
Wow.
It would literally make me cry, like to see the glory of these women go from, you know, why is their hair like this? Who told them, who abused them verbally, who told them they were beautiful and stuff like this. To now this whole makeover, you see their confidence change, and you see them feeling so good. You see them like a whole different woman. And that would make me cry. And I feel like a lot of us are not as aware of things like that. Like you could be watching something or seeing something, or you're hearing somebody say something, and it really touches you. You don't know why, but you start to get emotional. And so all that to say, we are all born with a fire. You just have to start paying a little bit more attention to yourself and asking yourself, what is this fire? Again, it falls in line with my boutique, helping women to feel good. Like that's a part of my passion now. That is my fire. So it's like, what is your fire? It could be an activity. Like I'm not putting the limits on God. Like whatever the fire that he gave you, like pay attention to that. Like people like to talk down on emotions or emotional, or no, we are emotions. We're not supposed to depend on our emotions, but God will give us our emotions as aids.
Yes, I agree.
Yep.
They're supposed to help us. So just like paying attention to how things make you feel and how you think about things. Like the answer is literally right in front of you. And I say all of that to say all of that can lead you to your why. And if you have that why, even in you want to think practical, like a business plan, starting your business. Now that you got your why, you can move forward, and it's a piece of cake. Because it's like, I know what I need to do. I know what the purpose is. Everything else is like easy. Like seek ye first the kingdom, and all these other things will be added. Like that's real.
Simple. That is real.
Yeah.
I agree.
So
I agree. I'm glad you said all of that, because like, man, it's here to it's great to hear a strong Black woman like yourself say that to the world in this time where the agenda now is against the Black woman. They've already completed the agenda with the Black man, and that's still going. Now the attack on the women is now. And to hear that and just spoken so perfectly. It's just amazing, and we're definitely thankful for you to say that on this platform, definitely. So we appreciate that. So speaking of Sarah Jakes Roberts, she has a quote of mine that I like. She said, "It might just be you and God for a season," right? And in this thing, she's saying, you know, it may just be only you and God who understand that fire, that knows that you're great, but no one else knows. You might be in a room full of a lot of great people, but you may be greater, but it may just be you and God. Has there been a time where you truly felt tested, like you've been in a room and you know that you know your greatness, right? But then your fire come to dim for someone else, right? Or like maybe you didn't want to show up with that fire that day. Like you just was tested that whole week that day. Is there a time where you dip kind of low, but then you came back? You know, please give it to us.
Well, as far as a time overall, as far as a season, where it was me and God. First of all, like a season, you never know how long a season's gonna be.
Facts. Facts.
God could take you through like the year's journey. So for me, that season was 2 years, but like in terms of a specific time, I went to a YLC conference. I don't know if you're familiar with. It's called the Young Leaders Conference.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I think I heard of that. I think I did hear that.
Based really. It's based in Atlanta, Georgia. It was August of 2019 that I went, and I was surrounded by like all these great people, these great speakers, other people. You know, we were all of the same faith. So I definitely felt really, really small in that environment. And one of my biggest struggles is I have a tendency to like shrink. I know how great I am, but I can be honest and say I'm still working on that part. I have a tendency to like shrink, like my nature wants to hide because number one, naturally, it might sound crazy because I'm a content creator, but I don't like a bunch of attention. Like I really don't. I'm perfectly fine being in the background, being hidden.
Same.
Not, but that's not
Yeah.
what God called me to. So it was definitely um during that conference, you know, because it was a whole weekend. That whole weekend, I felt very, very small and I questioned myself a lot because I'm surrounded by people who do this and people who do that. And people are saying different things. Like I'm questioning, like, oh, is this what you really called me to do? Is this what, you know, really what I'm supposed to be? And I remember during that time, he wanted me to just like listen. Like it wasn't my time to like speak up or anything. I was just to listen. But still internally, I was like low key feeling like overwhelmed, feeling
Yeah.
pressure. Like maybe I should just, you know, go back to hiding, just literally stop doing everything and just be normal or whatever you want to call it.
Mhm.
In terms of bouncing back, I it took time for me to bounce back, but again, I said it's something I'm still working on.
Yeah.
So, but I am a lot better at it now. I'm definitely stronger now. I'm more secure now. Even to Arizona, for example, I'm coming from an environment to where I'm the smartest person in the room. And you know what they say, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
All wrong.
And growing up, my parents used to always say, Jessica, you always hanging around people who are on lower levels than you. What she meant by that, not that I'm better than anybody else, but in terms of where I am mentally, what I'm trying to do, where I'm trying to go, they're just not there. They're
Yes.
comfortable being complacent. So in Washington, where I was at, that was an environment where I was always, you know, helping everybody, or what they say, pouring into everybody, but nobody was pouring into me. I'm really not surrounded by anybody who's successful, anybody who can really mentor me or guide me in the right direction. And now I'm in Arizona, and again, that was another reason that influenced me to move. You know, the reason why I had been thinking about it for so long, because in this area, I'm surrounded by so many successful people, so many people with knowledge, so many people with that faith who can really pour into me. And I'm no longer the smartest person in the room. Now I'm back to being small. This leadership conference, I'm back to being small, but this time I'm not feeling like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? Can I even do this? This stage now I'm like, okay, I'm ready. Like I want to learn what I can learn. I want to be in the right environment. Like I'm not so like, you know, tempted to hide anymore. I'm like, I'm embracing it. So I guess you can say that was the bounce back. You know, at first I was like overwhelmed and scared, and now I'm just like, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready for this new level. So
I hear that.
That's
I
dope.
hear that. So now the move is here. Now you're set. Now you ready, like you said. You've bounced back, like you said. Lastly, for this interview section, what is next up for Jess Michelle in 2021?
next up for Jess Michelle, I don't know if it'll be completed in 2021, but I am working on a book.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Okay.
I have been
Okay.
I have been journaling since my divorce, and it was revealed early on that the things in my journal will turn into a book. So that is in the works. Some new things, new items for my boutique is in the works as well. I'm also working on my own brand, like apart from my boutique. I have a logo down and everything. It's like a glow logo. You'll get more
Hey.
information about that. um, I'm working on that. But as far as this year, you know, aside from that, continuing to create content and things like that. But since this is because I literally just got here, aside from
Right.
this year is really going to be focused on solidifying like my foundation here in Arizona. Um, Another thing that I had to realize was again, rest is an ongoing thing that I still have to work on. So it's not always about oh the grind and go go go. I'm still kind of resting, and what that means for me is I'm surrounding myself with the right people. I'm getting knowledge. I'm getting information. I'm just more so observing and checking everything out right now. Kind of just planting those seeds.
Yes.
So it's not a whole bunch of, oh, I'm gonna be doing this and I'm doing this and this and this. No, it's more so, let me get a feel for this environment. Let me really establish myself. So that's really the focus this year. Not too much going on, but really just establishing myself where I know God has called me to be. So,
I hear that. Definitely.
Appreciate that. So right now we're about to get into our quick five. All right. So Jess, I will ask you 5 questions. You just need 5 quick answers to each question. All right. So first up, tell us one thing that you know now that you wish you knew at the beginning of your journey.
that I know now, I know that I am enough. I'm more than enough.
There you go.
There it is. There it is. Next, which public figure that has passed on would you have loved to have met, talked about each other's experiences, possibly any potential business opportunities, or just pick their brains for their knowledge?
Oh, wow. That's a good question. That have passed, and that could even be like before I was born.
Sure.
Wow. I'm really trying to think. Wow. Actually, I don't think no one has said this. Minnie Riperton.
Nobody didn't say that. Wow, we got a first.
Okay.
Minnie Riperton, yes.
We got a first.
Yeah, like that. I like that one.
I can see that. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So you mentioned earlier you like to travel. What's next on your travel wish list as far as where you wanna go in the world?
Greece.
Okay.
I've heard so many wonderful things about it. It's beautiful. I heard a lot of good things about the people, just their mindset, just the way they live their day-to-day lives, like Greece.
Okay. So, top 3 things that you would change about society if you could pick any 3.
Wow,
That's a good question that I would change about society. I don't know how do you give quick answers to questions like that.
I mean, whatever comes to mind. Whatever comes to mind. I mean, for me, it's like immediately stop corruption and greed in people's hearts. That would just be something for me.
Right. I think one of the things I would change is the stereotypical hate. That would be one. I don't know if I need to elaborate on that, but that would be one.
We got you.
I would definitely change. Oh wow, I really have to think about this.
Well, just give us one more. You ain't got to do 3. Just give us one more.
I would definitely change the money hungriness.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I like that. Yeah. Definitely.
I have to think about. Like, I can give you an answer, but I really gotta like.
We get you. And finally, what do you pray for the most?
I pray for less of me and more of him. I pray
Agreed.
get out the way and stay out of the way, because
That's right.
Yeah.
Love the answer.
Definitely.
As much as possible, because as I continue to grow, like my platform, everything that's been happening, like it's so easy to what they say, get in your own splendor. I just try to continue staying out of the way because I don't want. Yeah.
Sure.
Love that answer. Answer. Well, people, that is our interview. We want to thank everyone for listening and viewing us live right now. And please, please, please go follow Jess Michelle on IG and TikTok right now. Hey, we thank you so much for doing this interview with us. We definitely appreciate it. Do you have any closing remarks, anything you want to say to the people?
I'm grateful that you guys have chose me to be a part of this. Like, I really enjoyed it. I'm very, very grateful and always welcome to do this anytime. And I appreciate everyone out there who has been watching, listening, tuning in. Again, don't be a stranger. Like, I'm not one of them. Like they said, you can follow me on Instagram and TikTok or whatever. Feel free to reach out to me if you have any other questions. I actually talk to people back. So don't be a stranger. Anyone who wants to reach out to me for any reason, feel free. It's very welcoming. So I just want everybody to know that. And so thank you all.
Perfect. Once again, thank you again for coming on. Also, thank you, StreamYard platform, for allowing us to present live this evening. Please remember to follow the HL Podcast on IG, TikTok, Facebook, all of the above. And please check out episode 78, which will be available this week.
Peace and love, everybody.
Peace and love.